Hey guys, it's General Grievous Hero, the factual Clone Wars, and today on this video we're going to be taking a different route, but we're going to have to explain this is because this is really kind of stupid and annoying, and it just needs to stop. Because Grievous is a hero in Star Wars canon, the Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith, and other comics that connect with him, and he's also a hero in the fanfic The Last of the Droids, my fanfic. But we're gonna go ahead and break this down. But as you already know, Grievous is a hero in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith, and that has always been proven as a fact and not my opinion. But the reason why we're going to be talking about this is because, like I said, it's really stupid and annoying when people just get angry over the facts that Grievous is a hero in the show, but then try to say, oh, he's only a hero in your little fan fiction, The Last of Droids. But we're going to have to break it down because The Last of Droids is my fan fiction, but we're just going to have to break it down because, like I said, this kind of... People were kind of been doing this for a while back. You know, these idiots try to join the channel like a while back and try to say, oh, you know, well, we like support the facts that Grievous is here, but really they were just only worried about the story or whatever. But that's why I had to call them out, and they got all upset. I'm like, no, because Grievous is here in the show and as well as the story. But we're gonna go ahead and break that down. But like I said, this is nonsense, and let's go ahead and pull it up on StreamYard. Alright, so yep, we are already on StreamYard, and yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and, look at this Last of Droids. Like I said, we gotta break this down, because like I said, this is really stupid and annoying. Like I said, when you guys, like I said, Last of Droids is my fan fiction, and like I said, we're gonna be breaking it down, because like I said, people get upset and hurt because the facts that Grievous is here in canon, and then they'll try to say, oh, it's only in your fan fiction, Last of Droids, which is effing stupid, because really, on Grievous's page, on the Last of Droids, on my wiki, it literally says General Grievous is a major hero and slash antagonist in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and the main protagonist slash hero of Star Wars, the Last of the Droids multimedia project. So again, literally, it's telling you that Grievous is a major hero in the Clone Wars show, which is canon, as well as he's a hero in the Last of the Droids multimedia project. But we're going to really break it down for these idiots that just continue to say, oh, it's only the Last of the Droids, because that's why I had to put this there. Like I said, the Last of the Droids shortened to Star Wars, the Last of the Droids shortened to the Last of the Droids is a multimedia project created by DSD who endorsed Spire Droid and General Grievous Hero for Life, aka myself, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to talk about the overview because, like I said, this is really where it's going to hurt people's opinions. And it's really going to hurt because, like I said, this is really annoying and it's stupid. But we have to break it down because people want to think, oh, he's only a hero in the story or whatever, blah, 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 which is not the case when he's a hero from canon. Like I always tell people before, how is he only a quote-unquote hero in The Last of the Droids when he came from the canon? It doesn't make any sense. You sound ignorant and stupid. He's the same Grievous hero that came from the show, which he was already a hero in the Clone Wars TV show, which just moves over to the story. So, like, yeah. But we're going to break this overview down. Star Wars The Last of the Droids is a fanfiction multimedia project focused on several different timelines of Star Wars as well as other shows like anime. The Last of the Droids is mainly based off of Star Wars Legends timeline, but it also contains a lot of Star Wars canon stuff, such as Grievous' heroic character, and a lot of evil Imperial stuff like Shore Troopers and TIE SK-1 experimental air superiority fighters, aka TIE Strikers. But certain events are switched around for the story purposes, as it is a fan fiction that does not have to follow the main, but it shouldn't be taken as fact again. So some of these idiots and retards be coming here like, oh, well, we found you from The Last of the Droids. Like I said, like I said earlier, these idiots thought, oh, we can come to The Last of the Droids and think, oh, we're going to fool Grievous Hero the Clone Wars and think we actually support the canon Grievous, the hero in the show, and we're going to fool him. No, The Last of the Droids is a fan fiction. It's a story. Yes, it is good, but I'm not going to be like freaking out over us. It's just a fan fiction. We go get mad over the canon because that's the reality and the truth. The fan fiction is just there for fun. So yeah, like I say, you're not going to be trying to fool people around here with this. And we're going to keep going. However, idiotic people tend to think Grievous is, in quotation, only a hero in The Last of the Droids, when that isn't the case. Grievous is a hero in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, as a fact. Therefore, Grievous is a hero in The Last of the Droids and canon because he's the same Grievous. Let me read that again. Grievous is a hero in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, as a fact. Therefore, Grievous is a hero in The Last of the Droids and canon because it's the same Grievous. So, with that, so that statement is just fools trying to downplay the facts for their own opinion. Again, you idiots are trying to downplay the facts for your own opinion to try to make it look like, oh, it's just the story. Like I said, The Last of the Droids is a story, but where does Grievous in The Last of the Droids come from? Star Wars and Clone Wars, which is canon, which means Grievous is here, is already proven as a fact, as we already stated in many other videos and other people already stated. So again, the facts that Grievous is here is in Star Wars and Clone Wars is canon. That's regardless. So that means he's a hero in The Last of the Droids as well. It's not just, oh, The Last of the Droids. Like I say, you're trying to downplay facts for your own opinion to be verified and act like, oh, we're just saying that from the story. No, get out of here with that mess. The Last of the Droids also plays on the canonical facts of the characters instead of the biased portrayals of the characters like the Clone Wars TV show tries to do. Therefore, Grievous and the Separatists will be rightfully portrayed as heroes instead of wrongfully being portrayed as villains, whereas the Jedi and Republic will be rightfully portrayed as villains instead of wrongfully being portrayed as heroes, as we only follow facts, not opinions, even if your idiotic mind thinks Grievous' heroic actions in canon are in quotation evil and Jedi's evil actions in canon are in quotation heroic. Like I said right there. That's why I had to put that there, because like I said, it doesn't matter. The Last of the Droids takes the Clone Wars show and just portrays it how it's supposed to be. This is why we tell the facts every day. We already said previously in other videos that Grievous is a hero portrayed as a villain, because that's just the facts and that's just the reality of the truth. But the reason why, like I said, The Last of the Droids takes it and we rightfully portray them as heroes, and we rightfully portray the Jedi villains as villains instead of wrongfully portraying them as quote-unquote heroes and wrongfully portraying Grievous and Seps as quote-unquote villains. So, like, again, that's why I don't understand where people keep trying to say, oh, you're just, all this stuff. No, like I said, The Last of the Droids is supposed to do that, but Grievous is a hero still in the canon of the Clone Wars, regardless if anything else. He's a hero portrayed as a villain. That's just the facts. That's just reality. You have to get over the fact that he's a hero portrayed as a villain. You have to get over the fact that the Jedi are villains portrayed as heroes. It's just reality. So, but The Last of the Droids, what it does is, like I said, we rightfully portray Grievous as heroes and Grievous and Steps as heroes, and then we, instead of wrongfully portraying them as villains, and we rightfully portray the Jedi as villains instead of wrongfully being portrayed as heroes. That's what the story does. But because it's portraying it from the right perspective instead of how the Clone Wars wrongfully try to portray him, but it doesn't mean, oh, that's just that. Oh no, Grievous is still a hero in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and the Steps are still heroes in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and Republican Jedi are still villains in Star Wars Clone Wars. So it doesn't matter. It's The Last of the Droids is just portraying it in the right way instead of the wrong way. So like I said, please understand this. Anyway, let's continue. The story. Oops. I didn't mean to. All right, yeah. The story brings in other series such as the anime High School DD and Cross Ange, as they interact with the characters from Star Wars in the Deadly War of the Clone Wars and later The Last of the Droids. The timeline is the best explanation to explain the events. So that's really, like I tell people, that's really it with The Last of the Droids. And that's just why I'm just like tired of all these people sitting here getting upset and offended and getting angry like their narcissistic ways and getting mad thinking it's only a hero in The Last of the Droids. Like I said, The Last of the Droids is a fan fiction, and all the way, the actual Last of the Droids story is not done yet. So all these people that are crying like, we want The Last of the Droids to be done, like, no, yeah, we're right here. The Last of the Droids TV series, like all these people, we want The Last of the Droids to be done. It's not done. You gotta go read All Forgotten first. So if you guys have not been reading All Forgotten and all these other things right here, you have to read Grievous Hero All Forgotten first before everything, and that's not done either. So like I said, so stop crying about The Last of the Droids. It's not going to be done anytime soon. Just focus on the Grievous Hero All Forgotten, the first part of it. So like I said, y'all can just go to the wiki. Like I said, the wiki all over. But like I said, the facts do not care about opinions. Like I said, the story is just there. So like I said, please, with all this nonsense trying to say, oh, he's only a hero in the fan fiction and not the thing. Like I said, because you just sound stupid. That's why I even have this meme right here, which I'm going to go stop sharing the Last of the Droids thing. But we're going to pull this up because like I said, this is dumb. It is dumb. So like I said, I don't understand why y'all continue to act like this and then get mad at facts when they don't go your way. Like I said, to say Grievous is only a hero in Grievous Hero the Clone Wars is fan fix. It's false info and retarded. Grievous is a hero in Star Wars canon regardless of what your idiotic opinionated mind thinks. Grievous is a hero in the canon and the stories fanfics, and that's the fact. Like I said, where does he come from? Oh wait, the canon. So again, please stop with the idiotic nonsense of trying to say it's only in the story because, like I said, you have no points. You have no points. But yeah, like I said, that's all I wanted to show you guys on the stream yard because, like I said, just please stop it with the nonsense. Like I said, Grievous is here in the Clone Wars and the Last of the Droids of the multimedia project, which are all forgotten in Heroes and Cross Grievous and in the Last of the Droids TV series itself. So just please stop with the nonsense trying to say it's only the story, man. The only thing, like I said, where does he come from? Like I said, people sound ignorant and stupid, but that's just what they want to do. But yeah, let me go get off the stream, y'all. This is, but like I said, y'all, stop it for real because, like I said, we already had idiots like that before that try to just come here and support the channel off of a story, and we're not really supporting the facts that Grievous Hero because they were idiotic retards. So yeah, y'all, that's it. That's all General Grievous Hero the Factual Clone Wars has to say about that. Like I said, it's just dumb. And yeah, so anyway, like, subscribe, share if you're new, and you already know General Grievous Hero the Factual Clone Wars' famous heroic quote. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Remember, I'm a hero in the canon and the Last of the Droids, you fools. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. Remember that Grievous Hero has a fact and not an opinion. Keep it factual, keep it real, y'all. I'm out.